Not every piece of CGI used in the DC Extended Universe stuck out like a painfully designed sore thumb. In fact, on more than a few occasions, those working behind the scenes have managed to wave their wands of computer generation in such a seamless way that even the most critical of movie buffs fail to spot their magic. I'm Gareth from WhatCulture.com, and here are 10 sneaky CGI moments you probably didn't notice in DCEU movies. Number 10. Most of Enchantress's costume, Suicide Squad. Let's call a spade a spade. Suicide Squad isn't a film known for boasting some of the finest CGI to ever grace the superhero genre. After all, it's the same flick that introduced us to Incubus, the revoltingly computer-generated brother of Cara Delevingne's Enchantress. But as crazy as it may seem, there were a few little CGI additions that actually helped to enhance the often soul-destroying viewing experience that was this 2016 megaflop. One was seen during the scenes where Delevingne's aforementioned Enchantress, equipped with her all-important heart and some of her brother's power, sported a rather elaborate get-up towards the back end of the feature. Yet behind-the-scenes footage of these sequences revealed the actor was actually wearing a rather minimalistic outfit on set in most of these moments. This was later built on with convincing CGI to the point where she looked every bit the formidable foe we wish the script and Delevingne's overall performance had allowed her to be. Number 9. Gal Gadot's armpit alterations, Wonder Woman. When the first round of trailers were released for Wonder Woman's inaugural standalone movie as part of the DCEU, a rather peculiar point became a key topic of conversation among some fans. In said first pieces of footage, Diana showed no signs of armpit hair when hurling a tank through the air during a pulsating battle scene, something that irked certain folks who were clamoring for Wonder Woman to be sporting some pit fuzz. Instead of adding in some computer-generated hair, however, the studio opted to digitally alter their star's armpit in another way before the feature hit cinemas. As later trailers and the theatrical release showcased, the skin tone of Diana's pit was color-matched to better blend into the rest of her body. Her complexion in general appears to be much warmer in comparison to those early teasers too. Though next to no one was ultimately left staring at the Amazon's underarm during the aforementioned tank-flipping scene by the time it went down in the movie, Warner Brothers still went oddly out of their way to ensure Gal Gadot's pits didn't look, well, the pits during her first solo outing. Number 8. General Zod's KRYPTONIAN armor, Man of Steel. Though Man of Steel was undoubtedly designed to give Henry Cavill's Superman/Clark Kent the platform he needed to go on to become one of the foundations of the impending Warner Brothers DCEU, there's an argument to be made that the show was pretty much stolen by Michael Shannon's complex and explosive portrayal of iconic Supes villain General Zod, alongside Shannon's frequently captivating character work as the Kryptonian attempting to turn Earth into the new Krypton. The antagonist's hulking armor also plays a vital part in making him look like a formidable foe for Kal-El. However, it may come as a bit of a surprise to hear that this colossal getup was actually only added in post-production. On set, Shannon could be seen strutting around in a motion capture suit, making his weighty presence and physicality in the eventual finished product that much more impressive in hindsight. It likely helped that the effects work used to bring the eye-catching armor to life was also magnificently seamless. All in all, he may have still felt like he was wearing a silly suit, as he put it, but the end results proved to be worth the on-set humiliation. Number 7. Pretty much all of the Capitol building, Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. During Zack Snyder's highly divisive follow-up to Man of Steel, Superman finds himself being questioned by Senator Finch over his battle against Zod in the aforementioned Metropolis massacring film. However, with many fans likely just locked into the moment depicting the last son of Krypton's decision to take responsibility for his destructive way of getting the job done 18 months earlier, few probably spotted the fact that the building he was entering, and the area surrounding it, was largely green-screened into existence. Apart from the army of anti-Superman protesters and a large set of white steps leading into the building, pretty much everything else we see in this tense introduction to the scene that will eventually see the Capitol building building explode from the inside, has been digitally added. It's not hard to see why Snyder & Co. opted for the CGI approach, what with the previously noted eventual explosion that takes place shortly after. But its near-flawless execution in the finished product is enough to convince the average Joe that far less computer wizardry was at play than first assumed. Number 6. Mall customers. Shazam! If it wasn't for the tireless work of an army of crew members, the majority of the game-changing blockbusters we see landing in movie theaters each and every year would not stand a chance of being made. That being said, those very same crew members, much like the stars on screen and the directors behind the cameras, are still only human beings. So mistakes will still inevitably happen on said movie sets from time to time. That's precisely what happened during the shooting of the DCEU Shazam feature, as director David F. Sandberg was focusing so hard on making sure Zachary Levi's character looked like he was flying in a mall fight scene that he completely missed the group of crew members obliviously stood in the same shot. Rather than scrap the footage and start again though, Sandberg and his visual effects team opted to throw some CGI shopping bags and a mop onto their persons, transforming them from crew members to shoppers/cleaning department. You probably completely missed this upon watching the film for the first time, but it's almost impossible to watch the sequence again without having your eyes drawn to the blissfully ignorant group next to the escalator. Number 5. Gal Gadot's pregnant stomach. Wonder Woman. Back to Patty Jenkins' first Wonder Woman outing we go! And once again we focus on another piece of CGI used to alter Gal Gadot in post. But while that first example of making the star's armpits look aesthetically pleasing may have seemed a touch pointless, this particular use of digital alteration was very much called for due to the fact that Gadot's frame had undergone some changes in the time between principal and additional photography. During the initial shoots for Wonder Woman, the actor was very much pregnant on set, but she was not showing. Fast forward 5 months, and by the time reshoots were in motion, Gadot looked every bit the mother-to-be. So the flick's VFX team addressed the star's baby bump by cutting a triangle in the front of her suit that would be filled with green screen cloth. Diana's consistently flat stomach was then brought into existence after filming in a chilly and muddy field was concluded. Needless to say, the CGI work in hiding her bump is completely unnoticeable in the feature, and the fact Gadot powered through these reshoots whilst carrying a baby inside her only adds to her real-life Wonder Woman legacy. Seriously, she is a badass. Number 4. A waterless flood. Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. Some may not have exactly been on board with the Man of Steel by the time Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice rolled around, but that still didn't stop Kal-El from saving lives and looking unreal in slow motion. Early on, we see the last son of Krypton rescue folks in various perilous situations. Yet one of the most powerful images in this enthralling sequence is that of Supes hovering down to save a bunch of people sitting on their rooftops, as a flood threatens to take them along with their homes. While it was reasonable enough to expect Zack Snyder and his team to use CGI for some of these larger-than-life rescue sequences, you may be surprised to hear that this flooding scene was actually filmed in a waterless backlot. The treacherous pool swirling around the folks on the roofs in the feature was ultimately digitally built around the actors using exceptional flowline software, despite it very much looking like the scene was shot in a controlled water tank. Now that is impressive. Number 3. Who needs a swamp? Suicide Squad. What do you know? Suicide Squad managed to sneak in yet another piece of deeply convincing CGI under our little noses without us noticing. If only it had managed to slide a compelling plot and decent writing into. Away from the film's many flaws though, this subtle bit of computer-generated magic managed to convince us once again that a scene was being shot on water, when in actual fact there was not a single drop in sight on set. The moment in question comes during a sequence set on the swampy waters surrounding Belle Reve, the prison facility keeping the likes of Harley Quinn and Deadshot locked away from the public. As a plane carrying Amanda Waller and Rick Flag to the remote locale is spotted overhead, we see some armed security occupying a boat on the rainy liquid surface. This swampy pool setting was actually laced into the feature afterwards, alongside the dismal weather, with the boats used being situated in front of a green screen on set, and propped up on some wheels very much not submerged in water. Real swamps are for fools. Digital H2O is the future. Number 2. Underwater hair, AQUAMAN. The minute James Wan was given the green light to bring his version of an Aquaman standalone flick to the big screen as part of the DCEU, the director knew he had one rather large obstacle to overcome from the get-go. That of making his various stars' hair float underwater in a way that wouldn't make them consistently look like ungracious oafs. This is actually much easier said than done, as the average human's locks are known to move quite unpredictably once submerged in H2O. There was also the obvious issue of not being able to plunge the likes of Jason Momoa, Amber Heard, and Dolph Lundgren underwater for the many scenes set in the ocean, because they'd die. So to get around this dilemma, the actors were shot on a dry set before later having the appearance of water and their wavy locks added in post. In adding digitally floating hair on top of their stars' pinned back real-life manes, the film ended up producing more than 400 of these simulations for the finished product. Much like Captain Marvel's wavy do in Avengers Endgame, there's more than meets the eye with these heroes' beautiful barnets. Number 1. Superman and Batman's capes. Man of Steel, Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice, Justice League. In various DCEU films. Some of the most unmistakable features of two of the mightiest names in all of comic book history are the swishing and majestic capes that cling to the hulking frames of Batman and Superman. However, when throwing your body into various physical set pieces, or even pretending to soar through the air, having a massive piece of cloth dangling off your back has been known to cause chaos from time to time. So to get around this, at various points in Man of Steel, Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice, and both versions of Justice League, Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck took to the set wearing a capeless version of their iconic suits. You have to tip your caps to the VFX teams behind the projects, as these vital items of clothing never once seem like they've been digitally crafted and attached to the famous names throughout their appearances in the DCEU. Sure, not every shot of bats or supes wearing their magnificent capes uses CGI. The odd posing moment is equipped with the real deal. But you'd be hard-pressed to figure out which scenes did and did not utilize some truly outstanding digital tinkering, which is about the biggest compliment you can give. And that's our list of any other sneaky CGI moments people didn't notice. Let us know all about them in the comments section right down below, and do not forget to like, share, and click on that subscribe button. Also, be sure to head on over to whatculture.com and find some more incredible articles just like the one this video right here is based on. I've been Gareth from whatculture.com. Thank you very much for watching, and I'm sure I'll see you very, very soon. Bye-bye.